Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at noon.
New at noon, an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office finds a long list of disability law violations at NDSU's Sanford Health Athletic Complex. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jordan Schreier. The investigation shows the complex does not have adequate seating for those in wheelchairs or accessible aisle seating. The bathrooms, ramps, signage, concession stands, and drinking fountains also all violate the Americans with Disabilities Act. Officials say NDSU now plans on fixing these issues quickly. The price tag is unknown at this point. The complex opened in 2016 and cost around $50 million. Also new at noon, 2 people are now facing charges for a string of smash and grabs in the metro. 24-year-old Amy Fossum and 34-year-old Jermaine Strickland were arrested for multiple charges ranging from drug possession to theft. When authorities pulled them over in West Fargo earlier this week, they found multiple credit cards that didn't belong to them, along with a machete, a knife, and 40 grams of meth. Both are set to be in court sometime in March. Taking that live look outside right now, it is another foggy, cloudy morning out there and now well into the afternoon. And to see if this will ever leave us, let's head on in to check with Lisa Green, our storm team meteorologist.
It does feel kind of like Groundhog Day in the forecast. By the way, Groundhog Day on Sunday. We'll have to see if the groundhog sees his shadow. Right now, he wouldn't. We're looking at some low visibility across a good portion of the valley. This is another view. We couldn't see downtown Fargo and our sky cam very well. And in the west, in Stutsman County, this is near the Woodworth area. You could see driving along the highway there on 36. You're not really seeing too far ahead into the distance. We've got visibility in that area in Carrington down to a half mile. Jamestown is less than 2 miles. Cooperstown is at a mile. And Candu still at 0 with Gwinner at a 1/4 mile visibility. So we are really struggling in eastern North Dakota. Grand Forks is at 1.25 miles. Over to the east are other places struggling with some fog too in Lakes Country. And then on top of that, we've had some snow in the Northern Valley, too. You can, as we zoom in, see this. Basically, Grand Forks and Crookston and north from there is where we're seeing that snow. Thief River Falls, Newfold, and over to Grafton, and that will continue to slowly drift eastward. Your temperatures, there's been a range here today, but overall, we're looking at teens to some 20s. It's 18 right now in Fargo and 17 in Grand Forks. And we do have some changes coming up in the planner that I think a lot of people will like to see, so we're going to talk about that coming up in just a bit.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lisa. The funeral for the teenage boy who was shot and killed in Northwood is set for this Friday. Officials say 15-year-old Jonah Borth was shot in the chest with a 9mm pistol. 32-year-old Samantha Wilson is charged with murder as well as contact by bodily fluids on a corrections officer. Police say Wilson was uncooperative when she was brought in and was banging her head on the windows in the cage of a patrol car and then spat blood on an officer. Investigators are still working to determine a motive. For more details on the service and visitation, find this story on the VNL app. The Bemidji Police Department wants your help finding a missing teenage girl. Authorities say 13-year-old Erica Spears was last seen at 2905 Pine Ridge Avenue yesterday morning. She is about 5'5", 230 pounds, brown eyes, and black hair. She was last seen wearing a black shirt with black pants. Anyone with information on her should call police. Some Americans have finally been evacuated from Wuhan, China, the ground zero for that coronavirus outbreak. Authorities plan to hold those folks in isolation. And with more cases being detected, health officials are working desperately to contain that rapidly spreading deadly virus. Janice Mackey-Freyer reports from Beijing.
This morning, Americans getting out of Wuhan, touching down in Alaska. More than 200 people facing quarantine for 2 weeks.
In Anchorage, the passengers were screened twice more and were approved to continue on to California by the CDC.
Fear of the mysterious coronavirus is spreading. British Airways, the first international carrier to suspend all flights to the mainland. The U.S. also considering an all-out ban on travel to and from China.
This is a potentially very serious public health threat. This is a very fast-moving, constantly changing situation.
Scientists are making some progress in duplicating the virus to come up with a treatment. With 5 confirmed cases in the U.S. and more than 100 people in 26 states still being watched for symptoms, hospitals are preparing. Here in China, the growing number of infections fueling a rush to build hospitals, at least 2 to be ready within days. But hundreds of Americans are still stuck in Wuhan with no way out. Priscilla Dickey and her daughter turned away from that State Department flight because of a passport problem.
I've been outside maybe once or twice, not a lot. I just kind of want to stay in and not worry about whether or not I'm going to get sick.
Sam Roth in Wisconsin, unsure how to get his wife and young daughters back home.
Sometimes I'll look at the headlines and I'll get really scared and think, what have I done? My children are there.
Restrictions to contain the virus have paralyzed much of China. Yet in Wuhan the other night, a moment of determination. Voices in the dark chanting "Jiayou," what people say for encouragement here, a way of urging someone to be strong and keep going.
Scientists are racing to develop a vaccine against the virus, but it's time-consuming and expensive. The best-case scenario, 3 months from now. The concern, of course, is that the virus is spreading rapidly and in some cases showing up in people who've never visited China. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Beijing.
Worldwide, nearly 6,000 people have been infected with the disease, with over 130 dead. In our consumer alert this afternoon, many people are wondering when they can expect that tax refund check to hit their bank. According to the IRS, refunds typically take 21 days after a return is received. Whether you file electronically or on paper, the fastest way to get a refund is through direct deposit. You can track the progress using the Where's My Refund app. You can get that online, or you can download the free IRS mobile app, and that's IRS2, the number 2, go. An area food bank is now able to feed thousands of people thanks to a donation from an 8th grader. Olivia Shemp is a student at Liberty Middle School and vice president of FCCLA, a student organization. She presented Great Plains Food Bank this morning with a check for just over $800. That's the equivalent of 2,782 meals. She collaborated with her school to raise funds for the Great Plains Food Bank by planning and hosting a school dance.
It makes me feel really great because I'm helping out the community in the best way that I can. And I used to live in an area where I didn't help and I didn't do a lot of stuff. But now that I'm here and I'm helping, it makes me feel really great.
You can also give to the Great Plains Food Bank on Giving Hearts Day, and that's February 13th.